Hello, everyone. This quick video is going to be an overview of our Circle of Grace program for the year 2020, 2021. This is a program that is required by the diocese for every student in Catholic schools or in parish schools of religion. And so for the last couple of months, I have been talking about the change. So before it was called Circles of Grace, and now it's called, no, it was Circles of Care. And now our new program is called Circle of Grace. So before I get too far ahead of myself, let me go ahead and share my screen with you. And we're going to go over a little bit about this program and how you can find it as a parent and overview it before your child goes through the training. So the diocese has just launched a new website, and I'm going to bring you to like the stuff that we need to be talking about. But it is pretty well done, and there's a lot of great information here. But for our purposes today, we are going to go over the child safety stuff. So this one is at the bottom of the home page. It's called Protecting Our Children. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And there is a lot of things on here. So as a professional or an official volunteer for Mater Dei Rosa Church or even at St. Dominic, we are mandated reporters of any kind of abuse, of suspected abuse. But a lot of times whenever that happens, it's an emotional difficulty, and we're not maybe forget what we're supposed to do as mandated reporters. This is where you can go to find out what you're supposed to do about that. The hotline is on here for victims that have suffered abuse, and then how to also report it, and then links to the Louisiana State Police and the Louisiana Department of Child and Family Services. Below that, you'll see a list of credibly accused clergy. I know that that seems kind of like front and center, and it is. And I'm going to posit to you that it should be. In order really to deal with sin and to heal from it, it has to first come to light. We have to bring it to the light of Christ and to the light of grace. We have to confess it as sin. That's the only way that we do anything for ourselves, because when we sin, we suffer under the consequences of that. And so to have a list, and so we want to hide that, right? We want to hide that and pretend like it's not there. But the only way I can help myself is to go to confession and bring it to the light of Christ and be honest about what's happened. And so to have a list like this, so readily accessible, I say is a beautiful way to be transparent and to begin to heal from the terrible, terrible abuses that have happened to children and to adults over the last, gosh, I mean, there's some clergy in here from the late 1800s and the early 1900s. So it is way past time for us to bring this to light and to begin to heal from these terrible abuses. So that list is there. Okay, but what we're talking about further down is further down too. So we have Circle of Grace login right here. This is where you can go as a parent and overview what we will be teaching your children. If you click Program Overview, it'll come to this page right here, and it just kind of gives you a summary of the key concepts of Circle of Grace. But if you want to dive in further, what you're going to need is a password once you get into this area where you log into the Circle of Grace. Okay, so where do you get the password? I've created this document, this opt-out form. So I didn't say this right away because I know Father Ruben and myself, we really, really encourage you not to opt out. But in respect and honor of your position as parents and the primary educators of your children, you do have the option to not let your child go through this training. And so you just have to have this opt-out form. Now, this is going to be everywhere. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on Google Classroom. It will be an insert in the bulletin on the week that I post the lesson, which is going to be January 17th. January the 17th, the lesson will post in your child's Google Classroom. And so you have until March to finish the lesson. I know it's a little bit more than what we typically do for online PSR. And so that's why I'm giving you guys a longer to turn it in. And if you want to turn in the opt-out form saying you do not want your child to participate, you also have until March to do that. But on the opt-out form is the password to log in to the child safety, the Circle of Grace curriculum. I'll have the opt-out form everywhere, and I will also have the instructions on how to access the class, like the outline and the lesson plans. I'll also have instructions on that. That's not on the opt-out form. It'll just be instructional, instructional ways to access it, that you don't have to go look for the opt-out form to find the instructions. So I'm going to try to really over communicate that. Hopefully that you'll be sick of seeing it. That'll be communicated so well. Okay, so once you put in that password, which is Care Safe Church, when you log into that, it's going to pull up a page that looks like this. So let's just say that you've got an 8th grader in online PSR. They are going to learn the 7th grade content. So whenever we combine classes, we always teach down. So if you have an 8th grader, they're going to learn 7th grade. If you have a 1st grader, they're going to learn kindergarten. If you have a 2nd grader, they will learn the 2nd grade because they're all by themselves because they're special. They're preparing for those sacraments. So hopefully that is self-explanatory. Okay, so let's open up the 7th grade lesson. And so this is what the teacher will have in order to teach the class. Now I say the teacher in quotation marks because I'll be your catechist. I will go over the lesson that you're going to see on here. You'll hear me talk on a video just like always. And we'll go over the 7th grade guidelines together. Now at the end of the lesson, there is going to be like work that they have to do. So when I like passed, I had to talk to the diocese to make sure that we could do our lessons this way, because typically you're supposed to do this in person. There's papers that I have to fill out for documentation and all kinds of stuff. And so I had to pass I had to like get my idea to do this. I had to get it approved from the diocese. And so what they did say that is in that, I just have to really reiterate to parents that this is one that you really want to work through with your child. Even if they're kind of a self-starter and they do it on their own most of the time, this is one where parents really need to be there and helping their children, because not because of the sensitivity, that is a little bit of it, but of the topic, the sensitivity of the topic, but more so because conversations then can happen that may not have happened otherwise, that your child may have a question that you didn't know that they had, or they didn't even know that they had, after seeing the information that's listed here. And so for the 7th grade, so the main thing is saying no to disrespect and honoring everyone's circle of grace. So they learn how to say no when someone is disrespecting them, and they learn that everyone has this circle of grace all around them, and God is present everywhere. So God is present in that circle of grace as close to you as God is always present to us, and that we honor that. And that's actually the 6th commandment, thou shalt not commit adultery, is that we honor everyone's circle of grace that surrounds them. We're honoring each other's bodies. We're honoring each other's personal space. And that commandment is part of the circle of grace, and honoring and respecting not only my body, but other people's bodies as well. And seeing them as one made in the image and likeness of God, and loving them the way that God loves them, and not taking advantage, not using them for my own benefit, and all of those things. So this is what our 7th graders are going to learn. And then at the end, they're going to have probably a little lesson, something that they're going to have to create to show that they've gone through the lesson. Okay, so recapping. Circle of Grace will be posted on your child's online Google Classroom on January the 17th. You do have the option to opt your child out of this lesson. I will make those opt-out forms widely available. They will be on Facebook, on the website. There'll be an insert in the bulletin. They will be on your child's Google Classroom as part of the lesson. And you have until March to either finish the lesson or to turn in the opt-out form. And then the third thing is that when you do the lesson, this is really a family catechesis. It's one where the family really, that the parent needs to be there and really invested in this particular lesson. If you have any questions about anything that we've talked about, any concerns, please feel free to contact me anytime. If I'm not in the office, just ask for my voicemail. I have all of my calls from church forward to a cell phone whenever I'm not here. So it's never a bother. I always like to hear from my parents and my families, because if there's a problem, I don't know unless you talk to me about it. But we will together find the best solution. So God bless you. I love all of you, and I can't wait until we don't have to do this anymore and we can be together in person again. Have a good day.